by a foreign government to go after terror targets. I grew up in a military culture for 20 years. In Germany, the military bases during the Cold War, literally that's all I knew.
So Dale, do you refer to yourself as a mercenary these days?
Yes, no.
Yes, no. Okay.
Well, so let me kind of clarify that a little bit. Funny you bring that up. So BBC came to my home in Florida last May, and they want to film a documentary about me, right? They got this fetish about mercenaries, and it stems from something I did back in 2015, 2016 and made international news. I was part of a strike team that was contracted by a foreign government to go after terror targets. And so we made the news because of that and some of the fallout from it. But so they've been kind of interested in me for the last several years. And then with the invasion of Ukraine by the Russians and the Wagner Group, right, the Russian mercenary company, that kind of piqued their interest more. They want to know more about mercenaries. And so we had a few conversations. I wasn't looking to do anything, but they kept calling me and asking me questions. Long story short, they thought it would be a great idea if they could do a documentary about me and my life and this world of mercenaries. So, the word mercenary kind of, sometimes it's synonymous with the word prostitution, It's two of the oldest professions in the world, and but they have a place. And so I don't think of myself as a mercenary. And in fact, I remember when we did the interview, they came to Florida, they watched me train and do all kinds of stuff with soldiers and others. And then when we actually did the interview, the journalist, they brought a journalist. That was a surprise attack. I wasn't expecting a journalist to show up. The producer showed up, the camera crew.
Well, it's from the BBC.
Yeah, and then like, oh, by the way, we brought so-and-so. She's a journalist, and I recognize her because she's been trying to hit me up on LinkedIn for a long time. And I just kind of felt a little animosity. I could feel there was a little tension there, right? And she wasn't. Anyway, she was looking for the aha moment. And so when we started the first interview, she started using words like assassin and bombs, and I had to hit the brakes right there. I go, so let's stop. Whoa, wait, what? So I said, first of all, I'm not an assassin. You can call me a mercenary. That's legit. I hire myself out as a professional soldier to do things that other people can't do. They don't have the skill sets to do. And I'll caveat that with, I don't murder people. I don't do anything illegal. Okay. When I go after people, they're bad people. Okay.
It's the difference between murdering and killing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Murder is because I can kill anybody for money, but I don't do that. Right. So, if I'm going to go after somebody, I got to be able to sleep at night too.
Let's not get this guy too excited.
Don't maybe come across that table. No. So anyways, and I told her, listen, I said, I'm not a mercenary. I said, I'm a professional soldier. I said, I don't make bombs. I make explosive charges. Okay. Everything that I do is I always have, I'm always thinking about collateral damage, minimizing that and making sure that whatever I do is targeted, is direct. And again, it's, I'm going after just the target and I don't hurt anybody else in the process. So, am I a mercenary? You could say technically, yes. I don't care. A lot of people think, oh my God, he's a mercenary. It's like calling me a hooker. So what? Two oldest professions in the world, we need them both, right? So they've kind of helped create, the world that we live in. And there's a need for us. So.
Hell yeah. But you did, we're going to go through the whole thing today. You had a long military career before you were in your own line of work there, right? So where did you start off?
Man, okay. Whew. Better sit back, hold on your hats, buckle up, put out your cigarettes. It's going to take a minute.
So all day.
Yeah. So what happened was my mom and dad met. My dad was in the Army for 20 years, and I grew up most of my childhood in Germany. My mother's German, and I lived in a military. I grew up in a military culture for 20 years in Germany. The military bases during the Cold War. Literally, that's all I knew right up until I graduated high school. And when I graduated high school, my dad also retired, and he got a job up in Menlo Park, San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh yeah,
and with an electronics company, right? Because he was in the Signal Corps in the military, and so we moved up there, and suddenly I am outside of the military culture. I'm now in this other world that I don't recognize. I'm going to school with kids that are not like the kids I'm used to. I'm going to, be blunt about it. at least when I was growing up in the military, kids were different. We grew up like little islands, like in Germany, for example, little islands of Americans, and all we had was each other, and we had that discipline, that regimentation from our fathers in the military life and the culture. And you got used to that, and then suddenly I'm cast in this world where the kids are a little different. They don't have that military, that regimentation, if you will. And I know people go, oh, whatever, they're going to have something negative to say about that, but there's a lot of good that comes out of that. The military is really one of the last bastions of society where, and don't listen to all the news and the crap out there. Racism is not alive and well at all in the military. In fact, it's very integrated. You really hardly ever come across any incidents of racism, man. We're all brothers and sisters, man. It's just the politicians want to exploit that, and they, it's their way of breaking down this last institution, where morality and ethics and patriotism still flourish on a daily basis. But anyways, I got used to that lifestyle, and I wanted to go back. That's all I could think about is I want to go back to the military life, and I wanted to be a soldier like my dad, and so. And when I was 17, a year before I graduated high school, I snuck off and went down to the recruiter's office. Now, my dad had plans for me to go to college. And reason why, my dad graduated high school in 11th grade. He didn't graduate. He finished high school in 11th grade. My mom in the 9th grade. Nobody on either side of the family had college degrees. And we were poor white people, at the end of the day. And so my dad wanted me to be the first one to go to college. That was his plan, his dream. My son, he's a college
American dream,
right?
Yeah.
And I had bad news. I didn't want to tell him, but I was like, I don't want to go to college. I'm not a good student. I was barely making D's and C's and F's in high school, and I just was not inclined for that, for school. Not yet, anyways. So I went to recruiters. He found out about it. It's too late. I re-enlisted. And the reason I re-enlisted, I was looking at the TV guide in my house one day, and one of the advertisements in the center of the guide was an advertisement for the U.S. Army Rangers. And it had this guy coming out of the jungles, with patrol cap, camouflage, car 15, rappel rope. And I said, man, that's me right there. I got to do that. And so down to the recruiter's office, signed up, told my dad. And then I realized I broke his heart, disappointed him. And now I felt really bad. I'm like, damn, I can't unring that bell. So I said, look, Dad, I want to be a soldier like you. This is what I know. This is what I grew up into. It's the only thing that feels comfortable to me. And I said, but I promise you, I will get my college degree. I'll do that too, right? And so a year later, I went in. I ended up, I didn't end up in the Ranger Battalion because they pulled a quick one on me at the last minute. Oh, by the way, there's no Ranger slots, but man, there's 82nd Airborne Division slots. And you can always go to Ranger School. You just tell the Sergeant Major you want to go to Ranger School, he'll send you. What a big lie, right? It doesn't work like that, but I didn't know.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, they got me, right? So I ended up in an infantry company in the 82nd Airborne Division, right? And then finally in LRP platoon, Long Range Reconnaissance Platoon, and for my first 4 years. So now I'm sitting here and I'm married. I've got a wife and I've got...
How young were you married?
So I married my wife at 21, my first wife of many. Yeah. She was actually older than me.
Yeah, we were talking before the podcast. You represent like every nationality around the world at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, this one happened to be was French Creole, black, right? And so we had a daughter together. My daughter was pretty young at the time, and I had a crossroads. I was like, do I stay in the military or do I get out? Because I felt like, I'm really good at digging foxholes and filling them back up and sitting under a tree for 3 days cleaning my rifle, and I just didn't feel challenged.
What years are we in right now?
So this was 1981, 82, 83. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, do I stay or do I get out? And so I called my mom, and my mom and my dad lived in Sacramento, California. I go, hey, Mom, listen, I'm thinking about getting out of the Army. Would you mind putting up with me, my wife, and my daughter for about 3 or 4 months till I get on my feet? And my mom in her harsh German accent was like, no, not no, but F no, right? I said, damn, Mom, thanks, thought you loved me. But my mom's like that, my mom loves me, but she's got limits, right? And that was a limit for her for sure. So I was like, well, I don't have a choice. So I got a letter at the same time from Delta Force, SFODD. And it was by the way, they send these letters out to everybody that's eligible to apply. Okay, let me caveat that. There's guys who remember, yeah, Delta Force One, they sent me a letter. No, that's not how it works. They don't want you. They send everybody a letter because they canvass all the military records, all. And they look for guys that meet the minimum qualifications, which are pretty stringent. And if you meet the minimum qualifications, then they send you a letter, go, hey, you met the minimum qualifications. Would you like to apply to try out to go to assessment and selection, right? So it's a very lengthy process.